Alright, so I reviewed Red Orchestra 2 and Rising Storm 1, and I think those are some of the best World War II shooters. Absolutely fantastic games. And that is especially if we ignore the nostalgia that some people might have about that, because, you know, if it was for me, it would have been Medal of Honor, Rising Sun, and European Assault, but I was told to go and play Red Orchestra 1. And, you know, to be absolutely honest, I was expecting something pretty crappy, but I was glad that I was wrong, because this game was released back in 2006, and, which mind you, was close to European Assault, and this game is fantastic. Now, sure, there are some things that I don't like about this game, and there are also things that I absolutely love. But before I get into that video, go ahead and like the video, please. It'll make me very happy, because, you know, I'm not usually happy, so give me something to be happy about, please. But anyways, let's get into the video. Oh, I also forgot to mention that if you want to actually play multiplayer, there is one server that I managed to find was populated in like England or something, or in Europe, 350 ping. I joined the server. I had like a how long is 300 milliseconds? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there was obviously lag, but you know, if you're around the European region or even America, then I mean, yes, you can still play this game online. Alright, but first off, I want to talk about the atmosphere, and that is something that I loved about Red Orchestra 2, and this game maintains it. Well, I mean, it's kind of weird saying maintains when the game was released before Red Orchestra 2, but whatever. But I want to show you guys the main menu, and I never do this, but I am not a man of art. I hate art, and I hate interpreting the meaning behind things, but this main menu is something that I love, because just look at how dark and how grim it is. It's spooky, it's scary, and before you even get into the game, right, it perfectly sets the tone. This is World War II. Shit is depending on what map you're playing on, you know, you could be playing as the Soviets, and you know, you've had to deal with 10 million civilians, as well as, I think, what, 19 million people being murdered, or maybe even playing as Germany and defending the Reichstag to the bitter end. And I know that some people might get offended by that, but I'm not glorifying anything. I'm just saying that it really does set the tone just by the main menu. But you know, moving on to the maps, there is a wide variety of maps. You know, you have heaps of them. It's very hard to get bored of them. And the good thing is you have tank-specific maps, like in Red Orchestra 2, you have close quarter maps, and as well as big open fields, and you know, they look dreary, they look dark, and this is what I want in a World War II game. Hell Let Loose, you know, probably one of the best modern World War II shooters, and I'm gonna be making a video on that, so stick around for that. But it all looks all fun in games. It doesn't have that same dead atmosphere that Red Orchestra has. Now, alright, moving on to the gunplay, I am gonna be absolutely honest, I am not a fan. If you remember in my Red Orchestra 2 review, I said I hated the aim mechanics, and some people kind of called me a bitch for not liking it. You know, fair enough, it's not for everyone. It's unique, I'd say. I don't have a wide vocabulary in terms of video games. A wide library in terms of video games, okay? So this was like a new experience to me. I played it, I didn't like it. But thankfully in Red Orchestra 1, it's sort of toned down and a lot more bearable. But what I am complaining about is it's the recoil and some of the weapons, because trying to hit anything at range with some of the weapons is just, it's borderline impossible. I know you're supposed to burst fire, you know, take it slowly, but I was doing that and I could barely hit anything. I was not having a fun time, which is most likely why the gameplay that you're seeing is mostly me in a tank, but more on that in a second. But you know, you have a limited number of weapons at your disposal, nothing in terms of the variety, you know, to Red Orchestra 2, which yet again, you know, it's not some wide variety in it itself. But one thing I absolutely hate and would make me never want to play this game again, and it's such a minuscule thing, but it is the PPSH sound. I have never heard a gun more annoying than this. In Homefront, the game, right, the M4, the way the M4 sounds, it's an insult to weapons. It is an insult to the M4. But you know, it's not annoying. Okay, it is annoying, but it's not ear-piercingly annoying like the freaking PPSH in this game. You know, I actually went out of my way to team kill because of just how annoying it sounds. Imagine a constant ear rape. Out of all the things about this game, this was the one thing that made me say, okay, I fucking hate this shit. But I mean, I probably, you know, could have just turned down the volume, but, you know, still. But I mean, seriously, whoever was responsible for making that sound, shame on you. But overall, you know, the gunplay, it's okay. It's just that some of the iron sights, it's like your character's headbutting the freaking gun, and you know, it does jump around a lot. Like the recoil was very hard. But I mean, hey, that is my opinion. Some people might like this, but that was my first impressions of it. Also, if you're wondering why I'm meleeing a lot, that's because someone, they wanted to really challenge the social norms instead of in terms of gunplay. So basically, traditionally, right mouse button is to ADS, but in this game, right mouse button is to freaking melee, and the middle mouse button is to ADS. I don't know. I understand that I can just change the controls, but like, who thought of that? Who thought that like, okay, middle mouse button is going to be the ADS button? It's like every shooter, both past and present to that game, had the same normal controls of right mouse button being the ADS. I don't understand why they decided to switch it. But I mean, look, you know, moving on, I want to talk about my favorite thing, and you all know what it is. It is tanks. Like, bro, the tanks in Red Orchestra 2 were fantastic. They were good. I loved them. They had like modeled interiors and everything, and even had like a reload animation. Like, you'd see the guy like punching a fucking shell. That was sick. And it took apparently, I don't know if it was like each individual tank, but apparently it took like 6 months to develop the interior design base. Whoever did that, hands down, fan-freaking-tastic. But I mean, I suppose this is why we might have a limited number of tanks. I think there's like only 6 different tanks in Red Orchestra 2, but there is many more in this game. The only thing is you don't have the fully modeled interiors. Like, you do get an interior, but it's not like the same depth, which, you know, that's fine by me. The game was made in 2006. I don't have these ridiculous sort of like expectations, but I don't think I have ever had this much fun in tank combat since like playing fucking War Thunder, which, mind you, I just get like sniped from 500 meters away, or some one of those little go-kart APCs, whatever that little Italian piece of shit is called, running around, or like in World of Tanks, which is, you know, I don't really need to explain, it's World of Tanks, so I really need to say what's wrong with that game. But the tank combat in this game was just so amazing. Look, I remember I turned the corner and I saw a tiger tank just sitting there looking at me, and it capped me. It doesn't matter, you could like adjust your tank, try and retreat. If the fucking tiger tank hits you, you're okay, you are done. You're gonna get one-shotted. And I kept on getting killed by this one tiger tank. I don't know what they've done with the AI, because the AI for the tanks is really freaking good. This tiger tank was smart, okay? And in terms of general AI, some of them are fucking dumb. They just run past me and they ignore me. Okay, fair enough. But in terms of tank AI, they are really freaking good. And I made it my mission to take down this one tiger tank. I kept on spawning in like the T-3485 or the IS, and I made it my freaking mission to take out this tank, and I kept on getting blown up. And you don't know how freaking good it sounded, or not sounded, how freaking good it sounded, how freaking good it felt to blow up that tank. And you know, I shot the side of its turret, and if the shell fucking ricochets, I'm like, okay, what is this, World of Tanks? But I mean, you know, overall, this game, I had a lot of fun. I do enjoy playing with this, you know, offline with bots. It was fun. I had genuine amounts of fun. It was absolutely worth the money. It wasn't like Verdun, where I went ahead and refunded that game, where I was like, okay, this is such a burden. This game was worth it. I highly recommend that you get this, as well as Red Orchestra 2. You know, there are still servers that play this game, not in the Australian or Asian region. You can forget about that. But I mean, all in all, I love this game. Anyways, I'm going to end today's video there. I hope you guys did enjoy it, because if you did, please do consider leaving a like, subscribing, and sharing the video with your friends. Anyways, my name is Tantu, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.